An epic tale of power, betrayal, and destiny unfolds in a world dripping with Gothic atmosphere, where ancient prophecies and twisted loyalties collide. With brooding vampiric anti-heroes, monstrous clans, and a narrative steeped in existential dread, of course I'm referring to the video game Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, which invites players to embrace a beautifully sinister descent into the dark world of Nosgoth. Welcome back to Comic Drops, the channel where comics and popular culture collide. With the remastered versions of Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 dropping next week, there's no better time to dive into the official tie-in comic. Co-published by Top Cow Comics and Eidos Interactive in 1999, this single issue bridges the gap between Blood Omen and Soul Reaver, immersing fans deeper into the dark lore of Nosgoth. But does it stand tall as a memorable tale, or is it just a glorified ad for the game? Stay tuned to find out. So our journey begins with Raziel, the brooding winged lieutenant of the vampire lord Kain. The opening pages show him in his prime, firstborn, respected, and also hungry. He's feeding on a human woman, blood dripping in vivid crimson splashes. And artist David Bowler leans hard into Gothic realism here. Every panel oozes Nosgoth decay, crumbling ruins, dim torchlight, and Raziel's clawed hands grasping his prey with unsettling precision. But then Raziel realizes something is off. The woman isn't human, or even a vampire. Her form flickers between life and death. She's a construct of the Elder Gods, sent as a harbinger of doom. Her cryptic warnings hit like thunderclaps. Kain's empire of vampires has thrown the balance of life and death into chaos. Souls are trapped in limbo, and Nosgoth's future is teetering on the edge of ruin. And Raziel's reaction is, well, classic Raziel, arrogant and dismissive. The Elder God's messenger calls him Redeemer and Destroyer, a being destined to right the wrongs Kain has inflicted on the world. She tells him that his loyalty to Kain will lead to betrayal, pain, and transformation into a Soul Reaver. But Raziel scoffs. He's loyal to Kain, and nothing will shake that. And this is where the brilliance of Matt Hawkins' writing shines through. We, the readers, know the game's story. We know Raziel is doomed. Watching him deny the inevitable feels like shouting at the screen during a horror movie. Don't go in there! But Raziel strides forward, blind to the trap he's walking into. The comic seamlessly cuts between present-day events and chilling visions of the future. As the Elder God's construct describes Raziel's destiny, we see it unfold on the page. First, the evolution that makes Raziel unique, his wings, a mark of superiority among vampires. Then Kain's reaction, jealousy, rage, and divine punishment. The sequence where Kain rips the wings from Raziel's back is nothing short of brutal. Bowler spares no detail here. The jagged tears, Raziel's screams, and the smirk of satisfaction on Kain's face. It's pure Gothic horror. But Kain doesn't stop there. In front of the entire vampire court, he casts Raziel into the Lake of the Dead, a fate worse than death. The water, lethal to vampires, burns like fire as Raziel's body disintegrates, but instead of dying, he's reborn. A vengeful wraith fueled not by blood, but by devouring souls. And the visual storytelling here is top tier. The transformation panels practically leap off the page. Raziel's body contorts, his flesh melting away to reveal his monstrous new form. And let's not forget about the colors either. Nelson's palette transitions from the fiery reds of Kain's wrath to the eerie blues of Raziel's rebirth. It's cinematic, haunting, and utterly captivating. Now, back in the present, Raziel refuses to believe the messenger's prophecy. In an especially gruesome moment, he decapitates her, tossing her severed head against the stone pillar. But even dismembered, she's not done. The head comes alive, now rotting and putrid, mocking Raziel with visions of Nosgoth's future. And this is where things get really unsettling. The Elder God's messenger describes the fate of Raziel's brethren, each twisted by their vampiric evolution into monstrous forms. Melchiah, reduced to a grotesque patchwork of stitched together humans and flesh. Zephin, transformed into an insect-like abomination. The visuals are grotesque, yet mesmerizing all the same. And Bowler's art, combined with Nelson's muted greens and sickly yellows, makes each mutation feel disturbingly organic. Through it all, though, Raziel remains defiant. He vows to remain loyal to Kain, even as the messenger taunts him with the truth. The Elder Gods have chosen him as their instrument to balance the scales. But Raziel refuses to accept this role. Instead, he burns the messenger's body and severed head, declaring his unwavering faith to Kain. It's the ultimate irony. His loyalty blinds him to the betrayal waiting just around the corner. And then the comic ends on a powerful note. Raziel, still narrating the scene, declares that he's heading to Kain's stronghold right now to share in his vision of our destiny. But we know the truth. Raziel is walking straight into his doom. The final panel shows Raziel in his iconic pose, standing on a rock, a spear in his hand, defiant against his fate. It's a haunting image, and one that fans of the game will recognize instantly. And this is where the comic excels. It doesn't just retell the opening of the game's story, it deepens it. By showing Raziel before his fall, it adds layers to his character. We see his arrogance, his loyalty, and his refusal to accept the truth. These flaws make his eventual transformation into the Soul Reaver all the more tragic. At its core, the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver tie-in comic is a masterclass in storytelling and world building, even if it remains a brief read. It expands on the game's lore while staying true to its dark Gothic roots. The art is stunning, the narrative is gripping, and the themes of betrayal and fate hit harder than ever. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to the series, this comic is a must-read. It's a haunting reminder why Soul Reaver remains one of the most beloved games of all time. And don't forget, we're getting a full prequel with the Soul Reaver The Dead Shall Rise Kickstarter graphic novel that's due out in May 2025. And with the remasters just days away, there's no better time to revisit Nosgoth. Of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment below your thoughts on the Legacy of Kain series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.